Hey, it's me, your favorite semi-annual Bosnian Warslop maker. It's really been a while, isn't it? And let me tell you something. We, Warslop consumers, are finally eating something good after the recent TennoCon. The last mediocre update came out almost a year ago. Recently we got a 1999 update announcement. You know, that one, with the only thing I know for real guy. They even got a Nine Inch Nails original soundtrack on trailer. I mean, listen to it, it's good. Speaking about good music, earlier in August they made an entire fictional 90s boys band that sounds exactly like Backstreet Boys. Under the Nurgle corruption. Finally, there is something that can resemble endgame content besides 24-hour Steel Pass survival missions. And the quote-unquote meta finally went beyond triple dipping slash. Wow, a perfect time to stop mining my Dante. Thanks D. Also we got the Ember skin, but who the f cares about... Ooh. Anyway, the game is in a very good place right now. Even considering that all of 1999 characters are incredibly ugly and obnoxious.
It won't be like last time, I promise.
The game is still very good. So good, I made an incredibly stupid mistake. I invited my friends to play it with me. You may wonder, why exactly showing a great game you enjoy to your homies is a mistake. You see, unfortunately, all of my friends aren't autistic. Like at all. And the sad truth that you can't survive this game progression while being neurotypical. The game will literally melt your brain. If I had a quarter for every friend that dropped this game before leaving the godforsaken Earth, I would have like $1.50, maybe $1.75. But what exactly makes people leave before they see their first good boss, before they see their first good charismatic characters, before they do their first good quest, before they unlock the second fucking planet in the star chart? The answer is, you guessed it, right, it's a fucking Cetus. In case you didn't know, to unlock traveling to different planets in Warframe, you need to fight a Spectre boss on a small location that is called Junction. But to gain access to the Junction, you need to complete chores. It's fucking chores. You need to prove that you spent enough time on a planet and you are ready to move on. In general, these chores aren't offensive at all. I don't mind surviving 5 extra minutes on Node on Ceres, I don't mind beating a Uranus mission with melee weapons only, it's fine. But occasionally you may stumble on a quest requirement on a junction, and to be honest, I'm not a big fan of it at all. I'm not against the idea of making people do the main quest on the later stages of a star chart. It's a great place for people who like the game to start wondering, the fuck is even happening at this point? But making side quests mandatory on the early points of the game, it's kinda isn't funny anymore. I don't know. So, in October 2023, in update 34 Abyss of the Gas, DE, the game's developer, decides to make Science Vigil, that goofy-ass quest from Cetus, mandatory to unlock a Venus Junction. Why? Because of this video. This is a great video from a very attractive man that shows how Warframe is viewed through a prism of touching grass on a daily basis. The main point of this video is that everybody would like to play a cool slasher about space ninja robots, but the game is too confusing for the majority of people, and that's true.
Modding may seem a tad overwhelming, but everything will soon make sense.
The game is tightly holding your hand for the first 30 minutes and then leaves you alone with dozens and dozens of new and unexplained mechanics, all of which you need to learn completely by yourself. And you know, not a lot of people are using Google while playing games. Because they're using Opera GX, the gamer... No, I'm just fucking with you. This video was relatable. So relatable, people started to retranslate its points to almost every Warframe early game discussion online. So, what did they decide to do with it? They actually listened. Yeah, they actually listened. It's a very unusual practice by the game developers nowadays, but this is how this game works. Let me just quote the Warframepedia for you. Our goal is to better guide newly awakened Tenno through the star chart. At the end of War's Prize, they will be directed to Cetus to learn about Codex Scanners and receive their first Warframe blueprint with a light introduction to resource and blueprint acquisition. Then they will be encouraged to follow the junction path to the next planet. Wow, what a noble cause. We are still talking about Science Vigil. I lost 6 potential players on this fucking Imagine you're a newly awakened Tenno, and you just finished the game's tutorial. You got your space syphilis cured, Captain War got his ass whooped, and some guy from YouTube says that you need to explore the solar system. After 20 minutes you're almost ready to move to Venus. But there is a single task left on a junction. Speak to Konzu in Cetus. Okay. Cetus is a relatively average trading hub ran by an Austrian faction. Also, it's the very first place you'll see that somewhat resembles a human society in this alien setting. Very archaic and unpleasant society though. Austrians were one of these artificial human subraces created by a technically advanced Orcan empire to do plenty of unpaid manual labor for them.
Slavery.
Of course, when the empire collapsed, Austrians finally got their freedom and autonomy. So what did they decide to do with it? Ooh, they decided to continue living under the tower of their deceased enslavers, which serves them as their only means of protection against the Greener forces, by the way, while simultaneously pillaging the said tower and selling parts of it to anybody who is willing to buy. Also, they are mainly eating fish, fruit, bugs, cum, and the living flesh they are gathering from the walls of the fucking tower. And Konzu, the guy we need to speak with, is a chief elder of a Cetus village. After meeting Chief for the first time and admiring his weird and ancient dialect of Humanian, you will have an option to do a quick bounty mission for him. Once again, I'm not against it. It's a bounty mission tutorial, bounty missions are really important, you will do a lot of bounties in this game. 5-minute detour and we're done, right? What do you mean I need to do a whole ass quest after that? Now we have another option in dialogue with Konzu, a personal favor. Konzu wants us to talk with this woman. Her name is Saya. She, her husband Onko and Konzu were great buddies 5 years ago until Onko just vanished. And since that very moment, these two haven't spoken once, because Saya thinks that Chief is somehow involved in the disappearance of her husband. But recently, both of them heard the same rumors that Onko is still alive and well, and right now he is hiding somewhere in the plains of Eidolons. That's why Konzo asks us to check on Saya. He's worried that she might get a little bit overexcited from all this news and do something incredibly stupid. Wow, a great task for a total stranger you first met 5 minutes ago. I'm not gonna do it. I have to do it. We are heading to the granny's place to let her know that we are eager to investigate all this missing husband business. Of course, she isn't pleased from the fact that all this is Konzo's idea, but also she isn't really in a position to decline help from a literal mechanical demigod. Babushka is telling us that not so long ago the Greener found something that might be Onko's research nearby Cetus, so we need to check it out. Contrary to popular belief, not every single resident of Cetus has a mind of a fucking troglodyte. Onko, for example, is a very Onko, for example, is a very smart fella, considering how much these two would praise his ass through the voice channel for the rest of the quest. But no, man really knew how to cook. He cooked glass. His research was mainly focused around glass. He even found a way to encrypt information inside the glass vibrations and resonance. We came to the Grenier dig site, we killed a bunch of goons, and then some flying heads started to scream at me. Meet Councillor Wayhack. You may know him for the third worst extermination mission in this game. Also, he will be another annoying voice on our Vox channel for the rest of this quest. We smashed the drill and went inside the goon cave to find... Uncle? Shut the fuck up, I'm talking right now. We went inside the goon cave to find some coffee. Here's the largest problem of this quest. These two are constantly mumbling about something, and they're doing it incredibly tiresome. I fucking hate Saya. Grandma has this unpleasant, demented vibe in combination with all these long-drawn Austrian mannerisms. Oi, padaunum, is this coffee his? The coffee has his mark. It must be important. Onko's coffee here, but Onko isn't here. What can it mean?
Oh, please, Onko. No.
Saya.
Kanum. I won't say a thing to him.
After returning to Orbiter, we are finding out that Koffer's glass key is completely broken. Lotus, as the only competent person here, suggests breaking the shit open using force, but Saya isn't taking it. She's saying that the only way to open the coffer is by forging a new key from the numerous glass shards scattered all over the earth. Also, for some reason, she starts speaking with a Serbian accent while explaining it.
Forcing it would only destroy everything inside.
Are you sleeping, you fat fuck?
I guess it's time for the promised scanner tutorial. Yahoo! Buy a scanner, equip a scanner, go to the planet with a scanner, and scan 3 shards of glass. Then massacre a couple dozens of Grenier soldiers. Pretty easy. But funny enough, this is not how it always was. This section of Saya's Vigil might be the most patched part of any quest in this game. Once again, you need to find 3 small objects in a relatively large area and scan them. What could they even nerf? First, at release, this shard was hidden. You had to interact with this interface to open the door that locks it. Personally, remember how I did this quest 4 times pre-nerf and I always seem to forget about it. Keep wandering for eternity searching for the last fucking piece. Nowadays they fixed this issue by leaving the container door open. Then they moved this shard a little bit closer to the rest. I don't know why, I guess people had a problem with it too. And recently they decided, fuck it, let's just put a fat outline on it, so literally no one would sit here for longer than 2 minutes, making this quest a little bit more bearable. So what about a narrative? How's our 2 ancient goobers doing? At this point they're just talking to each other through our Vox channel. Saya, I could help. I was with him the day he disappeared.
Oh, блядь. Oh, you both were together that day, but only you returned, and he disappeared.
So apparently, when both Gramps were younger, Konzu made Saya a proposal by giving her an iron flower. But Saya dumped him and married Onku instead. Now, Granny thinks that Konzu was so salty on Onku, he unalived, game ended, fucking murdered his best friend to be with his bitch. And Konzu, after hearing all this bullshit, be like,
Iron flower? I can't hear this. You know I had nothing to do with his...
His what?
I miss him too, Saya.
What do you mean? Next part. We need to find another glass shard. This time on Vayhek's galleon. So the ship is huge. We need to find a small glass piece on a huge ship. Lotus scanned the whole ship with different sound frequencies. Now we know where the shard is. The most important part is that after the I miss him too line, Saya completely stops blaming Konzu for her husband's disappearance. Girl, 5 minutes ago you hated him with all your guts. You hated him so much you haven't spoken with him for 5 years. And now Sly Grams can drop a couple of courtesies like, ooh, your dead husband was so cool and so smart. and you also so cool and so smart. And you suddenly act all like, thank you. Our marriage sucked, by the way. We hadn't had dinners on anniversaries for ages. Wayhack is doing all his regular flying head things.
You greasy metal maggot!
What a great character. The last piece remains. Saya thinks it might be in a region of...
Like where we used to fish! That place where Uncle's catch got eaten on the line by a...
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Why are you fucking laughing? You hated him for 5 fucking years! Even more, Granny doesn't even care what's inside the box anymore. She's done with Onko. They haven't even found his body. Fuck it, 10 minutes ago she was completely sure the blood is alive and breathing. Anyway, the last piece is in this cave, but the cave itself is heavily guarded by the Grineer. Fortunately, at this very time, a huge Eidolon decided to spawn from the closest puddle to make a distraction for us. I entered the cave, I lifted a rock, scanned the last shard, and despite the Flying Head's efforts, I easily escaped the planet. Finally, we have every single component to open the coffer. I wonder, what's inside of it?
Saya, you kept my flower.
Oh, Onko. You always told me I should try following my heart instead of my head. Shola, I guess it's time I did.
Saya, despite 5 years of hatred, decided to marry the old man Konzu she apparently secretly loved all this time. Konzu still haven't spoken about disappearance of Onko. For what I know, and considering his position as the head chief of Cetus, he might be completely aware of Onko's fate. You may wonder what happened with Onko. Is he dead? Is he still alive? If so, where exactly? Here he is. In his personal goon cave, 10 seconds of walking from Konzu's stand. You see, Onko, for his research on Eidolons, got a position in a secret organization called Quills, and to maintain this position he had to abandon his personal life, which includes leaving his wife to be banged by his best friend. I mean, he isn't really against it. Man literally wears a peekaboo blinds as a helmet. And what about us? We lost 30 minutes of our life doing a very questionable quest. 30 minutes a new player could have spent exploring the star chart. For that 30 minutes, a newbie could reach the Jackal, a very very interesting and relatively complex boss that would show them that combat in this game is a lot deeper than mindless melee spam. In that time they could reach Fortuna and listen to a banger that We All Live Together is and learn that this setting has some really interesting factions. Besides losing a bunch of time, we also got something. A promised Gara blueprint. Onko encrypted it in a glass key we restored. And I'm gonna be completely honest. DE. Making Gara the first accessible Warframe after starters was kind of fucking stupid. Warframes are objectively the most interesting and cool part of a game called Warframe. Almost every single new player would be set focused on crafting a new robot demigod as soon as they can, especially if it's a waifu. I personally knew people who survived this quest, got the blueprint as a reward, opened Warframe or some other tier list site, seeing that Gara is the whole tier higher than their Excalibur, and proceeded to grind her before leaving Earth, before first good boss, before you know the deal. You can't introduce new players to grinds this early. You need to have level 2 reputation with Ostrons and at least semi-decent early game gear to finish tier 3 bounties. Imagine how many average joys would die and drop this game while trying. Especially if a third of their game time was spent on a tutorial, third on a stupid pointless quest about troglodytes, and another third on a grind they can't even finish. DE. I want to play this game with my friends. Make the game more accessible for normies by showing them cool things first and tedious and boring shit when they're already addicted. Revamp the fucking Earth, or at least change the Venus Junction requirement from doing the dumbest quest in the game to, I don't know, completing a tutorial bounty maybe. If you enjoyed this Kitsu posting, like the video, subscribe, maybe I will do another one. Anyway, thanks, bye.